What's going on, Colts Nation? So, a lot going on here, obviously, in the last 24 hours with the Indianapolis Colts. And Zach Keefer was back on the Pat McAfee show earlier today, kind of discussing the fallout from, the Frank Reich firing and the Jeff Saturday hiring, and also stuff around the press conference the Colts held last night. So, guys, I just wanted to kind of dive into that, kind of play this. It's about a 2.5 minute clip, kind of react to it, give my thoughts overall about this and just what Keefer had to say and regarding this team moving forward. So, we're going to jump into this together, kind of get to it. So, let's do that.
We don't have boots on the ground in the Colts facility. We don't get a vibe of the Colts facility. I don't really know a lot of the players on the team. What are the thoughts here early? Now, I'm sure you haven't been able to talk to everybody. Jeff Saturday doesn't know any of the players. He has been around. He has not been around. What is that relationship, and what do you think the vibes are coming from the locker room right now, Zach Keefer?
Well, I think both things can be true, Pat. Like, Jeff Saturday is an amazing dude, right? He was an amazing player. They loved him at the facility. He's one of the best players this team's ever had, right? Like, he's got an amazing story. He was pumping gas before he found his way with the Colts. But the other side of it is people are stunned. I mean, people inside the building, former coaches, league executives, former scouts, stunned that they made this move. This is unprecedented in the last 6 decades in the NFL to hire someone. No NFL coaching experience, no college coaching experience. We haven't talked to the players yet, but I would love to hear from the defensive players, Stephon Gilmore, DeForest Buckner, guys who were expected to win. They're hiring Jeff Saturday, who doesn't even know the name of his coaching staff as of yesterday.
Yeah, who's going to be calling plays? Well, I'm going to figure that out here. Yeah. Got a game in about 5 days. He said he's drinking from a fire hydrant. I would like to hear, and that's like a very, good journalist thought that I wouldn't have. My thought would be like, all right, how do we win some games? A great journalist thought is, how about, bump and run Gilmore? Who probably had a couple options and say, you know what, I want to join this defense. How about a lot of the guys that are OGs that see it as soon as Matt Ryan gets benched, right? That was the feeling, though. There was a little bit of a uncomfortable conversation in the locker room whenever Matt Ryan was announced as a bench because they thought they were mailing it in. Do you think that is the belief around a lot of people of the Indianapolis Colts players?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to say it, but I think in the back of their minds, that's their thoughts. These guys were not happy that Matt Ryan was benched. Frank Reich's hands were tied, right? I think everybody knows that. This was a decision, the third straight decision that Jim Irsay has made at the top. He forced the trade for Carson Wentz. He benched Matt Ryan, and he went and hired Jeff Saturday. I don't think that was a Chris Ballard move. I don't think if you're a GM who's on ice that is thinning a little bit, you go hire an unproven head coach. So the guys were not happy that Matt Ryan was benched. They came here to win the division, to play in the playoffs. And this is going nowhere. And if you guys watched the game Sunday, you saw the worst offense this team's had in 25 years.
One thing that I thought was definitely interesting that Zach Keefer said, is just talking about how these guys are never going to say it, but you got to think in the back of their mind, some of these, guys who have been here since the beginning, who have kind of seen this thing. I mean, I'm only wondering what these guys are thinking because he used the words stunned, shocked, right? And it seems like that wasn't just us. It was people within the organization, people outside of the organization. And it's clear that Jim has taken more of this approach, right, in terms of, controlling the team. And now, as Keefer said, this is his third thing he's done, forced the Carson Wentz trade, obviously benched Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger, and then now, firing Frank Reich and hiring Jeff Saturday. So, I do kind of wonder how much of this do you put on Ballard? I know he has definitely some faults here, but like the fact that you talk about Reich's hands that were tied, Ballard's hands were kind of tied here too, because he was basically forced to trade for a quarterback, give away a substantial amount of draft capital to go get a quarterback that he never really wanted, forced now to, and I do wonder how much of a part Jim played also in hiring Frank Reich. Like that's one of my biggest question marks too, is like, he basically, probably had a good amount of insight knowing Frank Reich, who was in the organization years ago, who worked with Peyton Manning, was his quarterback's coach, and now is, forced him to basically fire him as well and hire Jeff Saturday. I don't know how much he forced him to fire, Reich versus, Saturday was clearly an Irsay move. I don't know if maybe the firing was more of a collaborative move, but you know what I mean? It's just weird. It's like Jim Irsay has kind of been overstepping a lot more, Now, again, it is his team, so he does have that right to do it. It's just very unprecedented. And like the Jim Irsay we've seen the last 2 off seasons has not really been a Jim Irsay that I'm used to seeing. Typically, he's been pretty hands off, but it's clear, I guess, guys, that Irsay is fed up with the way that things have been. He clearly knows what it's like and knows what it feels like to be a part of a winning organization, be a part of the golden years with Manning and James and Harrison and Wayne and Freeney and Mathis, all these guys. So he knows what it takes to win. You just put yourself in the locker room there as one of these guys, and you got to just be feeling terrible right now, especially the defense, considering all that you've put in, considering what you've expected. I mean, you played at a playoff championship level, and your offense has just let you down time and time again. And now you sit at 3-5-1. And from everything that I'm hearing from Keefer and from other people, it seems like the Colts, even though they'll never say it, these moves signal to me they're looking beyond this year. As much as they will say, well, we're going to compete. The season's not over. Guys, let's be honest. This team hasn't competed all year. I don't think a couple coaching changes is going to change that. I think this team is what it is this year. And I think Saturday is more of a lateral move to get a guy in the building that can kind of evaluate everything for next year and moving forward. I don't think this is about a win now thing. This is more about let's evaluate for next year, right? And also Jim Irsay knows that everything goes through the quarterback, right? Everything goes through the quarterback. He's drafted 2 borderline Hall of Fame quarterbacks, right? Peyton Manning, obviously. Andrew Luck had the talent, if he would have stayed with Indianapolis, to be a Hall of Fame caliber player. So Jim Irsay knows what it takes to win. You look at the quarterback class that's upcoming, and you kind of can put the pieces together that maybe that's kind of Irsay's thinking here. Is like, we're going to see what Jeff Saturday has at coach. If it doesn't work out, all right, that's fine. We'll move forward with that. We'll move forward with the process that we already had in place. It's just an interim thing, so there's no guarantees. Parks Frazier never called plays before. Why not give him an opportunity? He's a young guy. Let's give it a try. That's what this Colts team seems like they're doing from the quarterback position, left tackle now, coaching experience, no coaching experience, and now the play caller. And it's like either you're going to find some really good players here and really good coaches here. Oh, you're already going downhill, so why not give things a try? That's kind of where I'm at, but I do feel for some of those guys in the locker room, right? I do feel sorry for the DeForest Buckners, the Stephon Gilmores of the world. Those guys that have put in work and have been constant Pro Bowl, All-Pro players ever since they came to Indianapolis. I feel bad for those players. And I do think the Colts, if they are kind of doing a soft reset or even a hard reset this offseason, I think they owe those players, the option, if they want, to go find another place to play that's going to actually compete next year. Let's be honest, if the Colts do a hard reset, it's going to take a couple years with their franchise guy, if he turns out to be anything, to compete again, and especially in the AFC with how loaded it is with young quarterback talent right now. And you're thinking there's going to be some other nice quarterbacks that are probably going to be taken by a few AFC teams this year. So the Colts are going to have to compete in a lot of ways here, and build around that franchise guy. I don't think they're going to have a fire sale, but I think you're going to look at this Colts team in a couple months here, and there's going to be a lot of players that we're used to seeing on this team the last couple of years that probably aren't going to be here, for being completely honest. I mean, that's the vibes I'm getting. And so those players that are playing well, maybe the Colts try to get some value out of them while they still have some left. And I think those players deserve to go to a place that's ready to win now. So, guys, that's kind of my overall thoughts here. Obviously, there's probably a lot under the surface that we don't even see, right? Keefer even mentioned he hasn't even talked to the players yet. I can only imagine what their thoughts are. I know Lawrence Owen, the Believe in Colts podcast with Rodney McLeod, Colts safety, and he was talking about how they were just all shocked at this. So I think this is just league-wide. Everybody is shocked at these moves that Irsay has made recently. Guys, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. Colts still have 7-8 games left, so a lot can happen in that time. We'll see if Jeff Saturday can do anything to maybe get some of these guys back playing at their level that we all expect them to play at. We'll see. Or maybe, they start tanking and realistically could be a top 5 team looking for their future quarterback. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts on Zach Keefer going on the Pat McAfee show, giving his thoughts. I want to give a special shout out to our guy, Pat McAfee. He was in our live chat yesterday, and shout out to every single person who was in there. You guys were amazing. I said it on the stream. I'll say it again now. Man, if even half of you guys come back, guys, we're going to be doing this full time before you know it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.